Oh, hi there. It's the H2S. This is the video I think a lot of people have been wanting to watch. I think because, well, no, not even I think. I know because there was a part of one of my videos where I spliced in the meme of throwing the H2S into the garbage can. Have the H2S just sit there. That's a video for another time. Now, look, I know a lot of people are really curious. I think a lot of it is because Bambu has such a great reputation when it comes to printers. And it's probably even more crazy if you've watched me on any of my other platforms, because I have 9 K2 Pluses, which is probably the machine that everyone wanted to get rid of and everything when it came to be. So let's talk about what my frustrations and struggles were with the H2S. I want to be clear out the gate though. I'm not saying don't buy this machine. I just want to talk about with what my frustrations were. So for anyone who's new to the channel, I'm basically Bensky and I love 3D printing. I do it for a business. I also obviously do it for content creation, but I really love 3D printing. And because I love 3D printing, I have experimented with a lot of different printers.
I'll give him a whirl.
Currently, as it stands, I have 20 3D printers, everywhere from the Elegoo Centauri Carbon to the Snapmaker U1. And today we're going to talk about the Bambu H2S. Look, as always, thank you guys so much for watching the video. And if you have not already, subscribed and hit that bell notification icon and comment down below what more things you want to see. If you want to see more reviews of printers going head to head, I know that we're going to have a video on the things that do and don't sell, like this Snorlax mask that I made and I absolutely love from Nico Industries. But yeah, please give me that like, please give me that subscription. Let's get back into the video. Now, again, we're kind of going to talk about what my personal frustrations were, why I bought this particular machine, and kind of getting into more of the nitty gritty stuff. But also, I want to be clear, kind of like I said at the beginning of the video, this isn't a reflection of Bambu. I don't want to be the kind of person that you guys come onto my channel because I'm going to bash one company versus another company. I really love everything that I print with. Sometimes there's things that I just get really frustrated with, and I want to tell you guys what those are, especially because if it's something that you're struggling with, I want you guys to be able to say, hey, this is something that I was having a problem with. I'm glad Bensky found it and he talked about it and fixed it. Now look, I don't know all the fun ins and outs of 3D printers. Electronics are very new to me in a sense. I have worked on cars and motorcycles for a majority of my life, so the mechanical aspect and working with my hands is very familiar, but when it comes to things like PCB boards or main boards or anything other board,
What the hell are you talking about?
I get very lost very quickly, which I think is why I'm so interested in one day future trying to work with somebody like PCBWay, because I want to be able to explore that kind of stuff, because it seems like it's built for people like me who know theoretically what I want to do, but like I don't know what to do. Anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about the H2S. Now, as you can see right now, it is printing, and it is printing well. It's been doing great. I had one issue with adhesion over the last 48 hours. Again, it's an adhesion thing, so that's like me touching the build plate, all this other stuff. I'm not blaming the machine for that. And I want to make very clear that when I'm talking about different issues when it comes to printers, whether it's going to be the Bambu, the Creality, the Elegoo, whatever it's going to be, I want to try to make sure I'm being clear on what I feel like is my problem and what I feel like is a failure of the machine. Because here shortly, probably next week or the week after that, I'm going to do a video about which printers I do think you should buy, but a lot of it's going to come down to the application. I do not think, and I will stand by this right now, I do not think there is one printer that is the best, period. Overall, this is the only printer you should buy. It depends on the application, whether you're going to be somebody who's a pure hobbyist, whether you're somebody who's printing hobbyist practical, hobbyist fun, whether you're doing business practical, business fun, and there's all these different factors, and that's why there isn't just one answer. And so as a word of caution, if you're following anybody who's going to tell you this is the only printer you should buy and forget all these other ones, try to hear them out. I would recommend not taking that advice. I'm not thinking of anyone in particular. I'm just saying that that's a pretty big red flag. So I know the biggest reason this video is probably really interesting to people, and there's a lot of people in the comments that are just kind of baffled by it, is because Bambu has done such a great job of keeping the reputation up as a very good 3D printer, as a print out of the box 3D printer. It's usually not common to hear people like me say they want to toss it through the window. Now, I will also clarify that one of my problems with the H2S actually doesn't have to do with the H2S itself. It has to do with the AMS2, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But right off the bat, the biggest thing that happened from the beginning, from day one, that I thought I found the solution for, that I didn't find the solution for, is that it has a really weird issue when it comes to feeding filament. I really hope I have a video on here. I think it's from my phone, but hopefully it'll be spliced in here. But what ends up happening is that the filament will come in and it'll feed into the top of the feeder and it won't grab it, and then it'll try to recycle and try to do that 5, 6, 7 times before it stops and says, hey, it's not working. So I did what any logical person would do. I went on YouTube, searched this problem up, I looked on Reddit, I looked on Google, and it seemed like a lot of people were having this same problem, but also not having this same problem. See, there were quite a few people who were saying, hey, it wasn't getting through the buffer tube and it was backing out, and then there was a magnet inside the buffer tube. That wasn't my issue. Mine was getting all the way through the buffer tube. It was going into the nozzle, but it wasn't grabbing after that. So obviously one of my first things was checking the tension, making sure that was all good. That was all fine. No issues there. Somebody said there's another micro magnet. I looked in there. Mine was fine, wasn't dislodged, wasn't anything, the polarity was correct. What the heck was it? So I thought maybe my cuts on my filament weren't aggressive enough. And here's what I mean by that. If you were to take this spool of filament and you see that it's flat up here, the recommendation is to take your cutters and make sure you cut it at a bit of a 45-degree angle, just like this. Hopefully you guys can see it, but hopefully you can see that this is cut at a 45-degree angle. That's to help it get into the head of the machine and feed it through properly. And I thought maybe I just need to be a little bit more aggressive. I need to make it a little bit more pointier. So I did as best as I could, kind of like this, and made an even better, stronger, like diagonal cut. And that didn't work. I thought maybe, just maybe, the spool wasn't heavy enough. So I put in a brand new spool and I pushed it all the way through and it still didn't work. I thought maybe it was just the particular slot of the AMS. So I moved slots. That wasn't the case. I have 3 AMSs. There's 2 here and there's one on the back end on top of here. But there are times where every single one of them wasn't working. So then I even took everything off and I put it on the manual spool holder feeder, and that technically worked, but that's because of what I'm going to talk about next. The only way I could get it to trick it into grabbing the filament was if I were to go into the printer itself and pull the lever that opened up the tensioner to get it to go through that tensioner. Then I could snap it closed, and sometimes that would work. There was another piece of advice that I saw where it said, hey, take the boat and tube clip, move it closer to the head so it's more straight up and down, so it just goes straight in. Because it seems like the general consensus for the few of us that are having this exact issue is that it isn't like getting fed properly, like straight through. Anyways, what does that really meant? Well, that's meant that even though I've started some multicolor prints, and some of them I've used all 3 AMSs, that I'll go to bed at night, and when it goes to switch to a particular filament, it won't feed and it'll pause itself, and then I can't print with this thing. And it happened on a really important thing for me where I was printing a helmet for somebody that was a custom order, and it didn't feed one of the colors properly. It paused so bad that I got a layer squish and it ruined the whole helmet for a custom order. If I was gonna have it, I probably would have kept it, but I needed to make sure that this was done properly for this customer. The other thing that's particularly frustrating for me with this machine, and this is a unique problem, I have not seen a lot of other people comment about this, is the overhanging isn't great. I did this helmet here, and you can see like all of this was printed kind of in this orientation. Actually, it was printed just like this. So this was up, and this is not, this is bad. This isn't just a preference thing, like that's not great. And the other thing is, again, this all shifted and it broke, and I'm really kind of upset. And we could see even on the inside right in there, that overhanging's not great. This isn't what I've come to expect from the Bambu, but that doesn't mean I think this machine is like the worst thing in the whole world. A lot of that meme of me throwing it in there was comedic effect, whatever, great, fine. The reason this made me particularly upset is because when I first started 3D printing and I started my 3D print farm, I had 15 A1s and 2 A1 minis. In fact, I still have one of my A1 minis back there printing away because I love it. I grew to love Bambu and I grew to love what they were producing. So when I got the H2S, the reason I got that versus the H2D at the time, because the H2C wasn't available, was I wanted to be able to print on the full bed plate, and I wanted to be able to print one-shot helmets more and more, but also I wanted to make sure that the AMSs could play nicely together, because there's a lot of prints that I do for my business that require 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 9 or 10 different color swaps. And I wanted to be able to do that well, and that hasn't been the case yet. And just kind of give you more of a reference, this printer only has 1,300 hours on it, and I've had it since November. And that's not a lot when you consider the fact that some of the Snapmaker U1s that I've had since December or late December, early January, already have 700 hours on it. And a lot of that is just due to the fact that it hasn't been printing because it's been stopped, it's been paused, or I just haven't trusted it to get things done. Now, it's not all bad. When this thing prints, this is a 5-color print, and when this thing prints, look at that quality. It is exactly what you expect it to be. It is an amazing quality. It does this really, really well. I mean, the fact that all these fangs were printed on their own on this bed plate, and there were 0 failures, 0 fang failures. Amazing. I mean, even here where the eyes come in, hopefully this will focus in on them. I don't really know, but there is like very minimal bleeding between his pupil and the yellow of his eye, which is huge. I've had to calibrate the K2 so that they don't bleed this much. I haven't changed anything. This is great. It's amazing. And that's the big thing, is the reason I think the most that this was frustrating was because, again, Bambu has done a phenomenal job, and the community has done a phenomenal job of letting you know that these printers are plug and play. And it was frustrating from the standpoint of, look, I converted most of my shop over to K2s. I was kind of deciding to go outside of that comfortability zone to get the Bambu H2S, and I spent more money on it, right? This is significantly more than a K2S, even though they're the same size. And so I was hoping to get more out of it because I did pay a little bit more, but the fact was it was the same. And so that was the big cautionary, or this is the big cautionary tale for you guys, is to say sometimes paying more doesn't always equal it's going to be better. Now, again, I've been making it work. I haven't found a real solution yet. I am wondering if there's something else that I need to do. What I'm gonna try is exchange the Bowden tube out from the buffer all the way to the head of the machine, and maybe that's gonna do it. Maybe that's the only thing I needed to do, and I just haven't done that yet, and I'm gonna feel real dumb if that's it. Now, again, if you guys have made it this far, I thank you guys so much, and we're gonna have a couple of announcements. One, I'm sorry this video's out on a Friday and not out on Thursday like it was supposed to be. That's my bad. The next big announcement is I'm gonna be starting a Patreon. Now, why would I be starting a Patreon? It's not gonna be anytime soon, but once it starts, the cool part about my Patreon is it's gonna be revolving around helping you as a business owner make money with 3D printing. What does that mean? Well, it means this Patreon is not gonna be very expensive. We're just gonna do $5 a month for the Patreon, and that's it. What you're gonna get is we're gonna have articles, we're gonna have interviews with other business owners, we're gonna have tips and tricks on things that I do to help sell my 3D prints out in the wild to make money my way. I'm gonna be able to offer courses where we sit down and talk about the spreadsheets that I calculate, how I calculate my prints, and all of the nitty-gritty stuff. Other really cool part is each month I've been already talking, and we're gonna partner with different designers, and you're gonna get basically Bensky exclusive models that will be limited that you can sell out in the wild by yourself. What that means is if we make an exclusive dice tower with a creator, there are only going to be X amount of commercial licenses for that dice tower. The dice tower will never be published publicly. There will only be, honestly, maybe 15 slots where people can grab those commercial licenses, grab that file, and that way it helps you stay on top of the edge of being exclusive with 3D printing. Because the biggest thing and the biggest piece of advice, and we'll get into this in other videos and on the Patreon, is that you have to figure out how to stand apart from the other 3D printers that are going to be at the markets, at the shows, online than you, because that's what's going to make it be successful for you ultimately. It's not going to just be your prices. It's not going to be just be what you're selling. It's going to be how you're setting yourself apart. So be on the lookout. Again, it probably won't launch for a few months when we have the Patreon all the way up and going. I want to make it cheap because I still want you guys to make money as 3D printers. And I'm not going to be one of those people that says, hey, pay me $100 a month and you're going to make six figures. Nope, not saying that at all. Pay me $5 a month and we're just going to have a really good place to be able to hone in everything and talk about it. And I want this community to be something that is very interactive. I probably will even limit the number of slots that are in this Patreon so I can give the full attention to everybody that joins. And don't worry, I'm still going to make videos here where we talk about what does and doesn't sell and things like that. I'm not going to gatekeep everything. This is just going to be exclusively for a community of people that want to have that extra touch of personalness when it comes to making money with 3D printing. Anyways, all in all, has this printer been amazing? Yes, it has. Have there been frustrations that have made me want to throw it? Absolutely. I hope that we can get this resolved, but honestly, I don't give up on it. I'm still printing with it. I still do love it when everything works. Again, outside of that feeding issue, the only thing that's really been an issue for me has been adhesion, but I can tell you it's because I touched the bed plate, because part of one of the things that happened was that this guy did not adhere to the bed plate. But as you can see that I'm currently printing, it's fine now because I washed the build plate and this was my fault. Anyways, guys, I'm basically Bensky and mistakes make magic, baby.